What is going on, Utensils? It is I am Spoon, and today I'm going to bring you a little more of a serious commentary. Um, just because it kind of fits with what I've been doing today, kind of just something that's been on my mind recently. I figured I need to touch on the subject a little bit more because during my streaming, when I'm confronted with this, I don't really go into detail, mainly because I don't really like too much confrontation unless it's necessary on my streams. Um, but this is more of an opinionative, I can't talk today, an opinionative commentary. And if you guys are uncomfortable with discussions about religion or anything like that, of course, feel free to back out now because I'm giving you fair warning. This is going to be all about why I'm against religion. Not really against it. I'm not really anti-religion, but I am. I'm not in favor of it. Obviously, I think it's a waste. So, if you guys don't like the sound of that, if you don't want to open your minds a little bit and kind of accept some opinion from someone else, then that's fine. If you'd rather shut your mind and not hear it from anybody else, then okay, that's fine. You don't have to. I don't want to upset you. So, what I do is I browse the popular website called Reddit. You guys know that. And they have subreddits. One of the subreddits I browse is atheism because I'm an atheist. And a lot of atheists will complain that atheism is kind of like just not really that great of a place. It's more like meh. Lots of just funny pictures making fun of religion and stuff. And they don't really support it. But I think it's appropriate to get a good laugh out of it from time to time. And not only that, but they also have a lot of stories that come out of that, a lot of personal stories, and a lot of really interesting articles that people find. And a story that was not really a story, but it was a CNN interview recently. It was between two people, Carol Costello, which is a CNN interview journalist type person, and Jesse Galeff, I think that's how you say it. He is he's a leader from an organization called the Secular Student Alliance, which is an organization I'm actually part of. Here at my local college, university, same thing. And so what Secular Student Alliance is obviously it's a group. It's like kind of like a club, extracurricular for secular students, as it says in the freaking title. What a secular is someone who questions a certain belief or ideology, and it's kind of like someone who mostly just kind of like almost a rebel. I want to feel like that's what it is, but it's mainly full of a bunch of brainy people that question certain beliefs and things like that. So it's interesting to be a part of being down here in what's known as the Bible Belt of the United States. So anyway, going on to the topic at hand here, which is I guess I don't really know. It's kind of like it's a mix between indoctrination and just kind of discussion, because this word seems to be thrown around lightly, like it's just used for everything. Kind of like terrorism is just thrown around about everything, and the whole definition of terrorism is a little different than what it actually is. So it's interesting how these words have become more used and more popular lately just because of the times we live in. So let me go and give you guys a breakdown of indoctrination, what it means in doctrine. It basically, doctrine is to teach, to instruct, to learn, if you will. So basically indoctrination is teaching a certain doctrine, an ideology, or a belief, mainly with the point of making a biased type opinion, which bias means like you're kind of like a bigot in a way, almost. Bigot is, of course, you hear other people's beliefs and stuff, and you're just like, oh, that's dumb. You can't possibly open your mind to what other people think. So that's what bias is. When you have a biased opinion, it means that you are led to believe a certain thing. So if I were to say, what's 2 plus 2, and you don't know the answer, not having a biased opinion would be you research and find out what the answer is if you don't know the answer. A biased opinion would say something like, well, the answer can't possibly be 4 because I don't believe that's what it is, and that's what I've been taught to believe, that the answer can never be 4. So, and that's a very loose opinion. It may not even be a good analogy, but that's just kind of to get the rundown of what that means if you guys don't know what biased means. So anyway, this is an interview that Carol Costello once again gives to Jesse, who's a big hotshot at a secular student. I haven't really looked into it too much. I just kind of watched the video and gathered a few things from it. And she's asking him, like, so you guys go around to high schools and you interview little kids, or you don't, not interview, but you tell little kids what to believe and yada, yada, yada. And it's really, it's kind of offensive almost. It's a really, like, see, I think reporting and journalism should be unbiased. I think that they should interview as if it's an unbiased opinion. And what Costello does here is give a really, 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 really strongly biased opinion towards the questioning she asked. She's leading on questions and really making just anyone who has an open mind uncomfortable with the entire thing, all right? So she goes on to say, okay, well, you go on and you contact high schoolers with the Secular Student Alliance. It's not just college, it's students. And they say, okay, if you're questioning something, we want you to come in and we want you to have an open mind, and you can kind of find those answers for yourself. Because secular doesn't always mean atheist, right? A lot of people say it's different. Most secular people are atheist or humanist. There's a lot of different terms that can be given. For as far as a religious person, they have one term that can be given towards their religion. But for someone without religion, there's a lot of different terms in which they can take. So a lot of people argue that you can be an atheist or a humanist or a secular, and it's all basically the same thing. I think it can kind of be the same thing. Anyone with an open mind who claims that title normally will be an atheist, but it doesn't always have to mean that. So I think it's proper to have multiple names for the same type of person in this, like under this banner. Like you can't just, like, I'm going to say I'm an atheist, but, someone else who is a secular person like I am won't always say, well, I'm an atheist. Because they still, like, atheist is just saying there is basically just being without God, just godlessness, right? And so a lot of people that are secular will say, well, I can't prove there is no God, so therefore I will not claim atheism as it doesn't seem appropriate. However, I choose to claim atheism and claim that there... And how about that? I couldn't revive that guy. It bugged me for a minute there. But I claim there is none because what is that saying? It's some kind of wager thing. It's like the burden of proof is on the claim. So if you claim there is something out of nothing, you have to back it up with some type of opinion. So if I were to say there is a God, that would make the burden of proof rely on me. So if I say there is a God, I must provide proof of that. If there's no valid proof, then there's the answer, right? It's something that's made up. So I mean that's one way to look at it. There's no factual evidence of any God existing or any type of gods existing. And a lot of people will also argue that, well, there's no proof that there isn't. But okay, well let's use that example for everything else. Let's say we're playing this video game right here, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, did you just see that dragonfly from across the screen here? And obviously, let's exclude the fact that there's other games on this console. Do you see the dragonfly across the screen right now? Like, right there it is. Right there. You're like, but it's not there. But like, no, it's right there. It says so. It says so. Like, okay, it doesn't say so anywhere. Like, no, but I saw it, therefore it has to be true. So that's kind of like, if I say something is there, I have to give some type of proof. Otherwise, it's obviously not real. So let's avoid that and go on to what she does here. So she says that some Christians might argue that because such groups are in high schools, you're sort of indoctrinating young people at a time when it's not proper because they're not old enough to really handle questions like that. So what Costello's saying here, and once again, this is the CNN person who's interviewing the journalist. She says that high school students can't handle questions about their belief and about their values and their faith. That when they question their faith, they're not old enough to handle that. They're not old enough to handle the fact that they might question that. And so, first of all, show of hands, how many of you are high schoolers here? How many of you are younger than high schoolers? So basically, she's saying that you're not old enough to understand what you're actually asking. That's what I take from that you're not old enough to understand what question you're actually asking there, which I think is very inappropriate, because I think that high school definitely old enough to handle the questions that you might have. I mean, if you're old enough to learn about the periodic elements and you're old enough to learn about sciences and math and history, you should be old enough to question life situations, and I mean they're preparing you for your life ahead of time anyway. That's what going to college is in for. So high school is really to prepare you for college, prepare you for life, because if you don't go to college, you jump right into it. So how is asking a question about your faith or your belief system or your values, how is that inappropriate for someone of that age? It's not. And earlier on in the interview, she even says that questioning is human nature. These are all exact quotes. I made sure to type them down. She said questioning is human nature. Did she say elderly human nature? No. She said it's human nature. So, first of all, let's break that down. First of all, it's completely contradicting what you're saying against yourself. That's hypocrisy at its finest, right? Which, not going to really touch on that too much because that's what most belief systems are founded on anyway, which is hypocrisy and contradictions, which is basically all the Bible is. Once again, not going to go into it too much. We'll let you guys do that research on your own. And this guy, Jesse Galef, the secular student guy, is just amazing. I don't know how the hell he didn't just go off on her. Because right there, when she says that, some Christians might argue that because you're in high schools, you're indoctrinating young people. What? First of all, isn't that what religion is? Christianity? I'm going to go on Christianity because I don't really do other religions, right? I don't know too many of the other ones too much, but I know they're roughly the same. I do want to study more, but it's at a time in my life when I don't really have time. That's why I'm doing psychology this upcoming semester, and then I'm probably going to do religious classes after that. Not religion classes, but like classes that have you researching other religions and other cultures and stuff. So she says that going into high schools with a secular opinion is indoctrination. And talking to kids about their questions and things they might want to ask about life and faith. So, So Christianity isn't indoctrinating, because isn't that what it is? You're teaching an ideology, a specific opinion that's supposed to be, that basically makes you biased towards other opinions. That's exactly what indoctrination is. When you take your children to church at 5 years old and younger, even when you take them to church and you teach them the Bible, that's indoctrination. That's exactly what that is. Not going into a high school and leaving people who have questions with an open mind, saying, hey, you find out what you want to believe, whatever feels appropriate, you're good to go. That's not indoctrination. If it is, then you can't you can't say it is and then say your religion is not. It's the same thing, right? So I think that's kind of dumb. I think it's dumb to be such a hypocrite, especially on CNN, which is national, once again, big time journalist television, that's fine if you want to have your opinion. Just, you shouldn't force it out there and throw it on people. I mean, people say that America is a one religion country, but that's not what it's supposed to be. Maybe it has a majority of a religion, that's fine, but no matter what you do, there's always going to be a majority of people. But you can't claim the entire country is this one religion just because most of the people, the legs sticking on the wall, we looked at that for a minute. But you can't claim a whole country is one religion when it's not. Just because it has a majority does not make it one whole religion. So I don't think it's fair to say, well, our country is a majority of Christianity, so I can throw my biased opinion around on television as much as I want. Because it's not exactly right. It doesn't make it right to do so. You should have an open opinion towards everything, and you should not make any kind of biased claim on national television, because that's leading, and that's not what journalism should be. But whatever. I mean, you can have an opinion once again on journalism, but actually interviewing someone shouldn't really do that. If you're gonna do that, might as well have a debate. And this person wasn't really making a debate; they were just talking. So if you want to start a debate, I'm sure he would have kicked her face in, but metaphorically, not literally. So he goes around, he takes the high road and just answers her questions appropriately. He doesn't get mad, and that took a better man to do. I wouldn't have done it. But something he says is really great. Like, I love this. I even wrote this down. He says, maybe I don't need to believe in God to be a good person. And that's a huge, huge topic. And I'm going to go into that on a different commentary. It's values. Values, and what do you need to do to be a good person? What dictates a quote-unquote good person? And those are kind of like really really and/or type of words. Like you can really take that at face value, or you can go into it and really search to find out what makes a person a good person or a bad person. And so a lot of different opinions on it. So we'll touch on that in a different commentary. But this one I wanted to mainly focus on indoctrination, excuse me, and what it means and how just offended I was when I saw this. Like, it just bugged me. Like, I had to go through and make sure. I was like, did she really say that? Did she really say that it's wrong to go into a high school and say that, hey, you have questions? Well, look, you should explore those questions. You should find the answers for yourself with an open mind, instead of just saying, hey, this is what someone told me, I should believe this. Because that is what everyone should do. That's what everyone should do. To just go, hey, I have a question about this. Let's find the answer if I don't know. Or, I mean, you can take in outside resources, but don't just have someone go up to you and be like, well, the answer is this, and then just say, okay. Find out what the answer is. Just solve it for yourself. And for heaven's sakes, don't have, I know I said heaven's sakes, but don't have a biased opinion towards everyone. Don't be a bigot. Oh, go in with an open mind, figure out some things for yourself, and it'll ultimately be a much more enjoyable experience. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Leave your comments below, and I'll spoon you later.